So we are recording. I mean, anybody who misses it can get it on the recording, which we'll send out. So
nice. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
It is very warm in my studio today.
Oh. When I lived in Armenia, I used to hang out with artists there all the time, and none of the art, and it got very hot in the summer. And there was a guy who all his paintings that he did in July and August were called "It's Hot in My Studio," and they were all melting people, like giant, like melting people. I said, whenever anybody says it's hot in my studio, that's immediately where I go.
That's funny.
It is really hot. I like that though. I thought he's embracing it, you know, like he's not trying to fight it. You're just like, this is how it is. It's fucking hot and everything's melting.
Yeah, my studio in St. John's was totally temperature controlled.
Right.
And I never took that for granted. I always appreciated that I had a low control and I could make it whatever I want.
Oh
but
my God.
A, I live on the coast now, it's different. And B, the sunlight, as you can see, comes through this giant window and it is
full on.
Full on.
It's beautiful. All right, I say, Crystal, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's start.
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Karista Trask, and I am the president for Portland Open Studios. As you know, Leah is actually now the chairman of the board. We split the role kind of into two roles so that we have a little bit more support as we're working through the development of Portland Open Studios. And thank God we did that, because now look at us. Whew, COVID hit and it completely changed things, right?
Yeah.
It took us a really long time to decide what to do this year for Portland Open Studios, mainly because we didn't want to take away the revenue source for people. We know that a lot of artists were losing opportunities. Almost all of their opportunities were disappearing. But we wanted to do something that was successful for people. So we're hoping that through these trainings, we can work on, working together to be a little bit more successful with the format that we have chosen. The format we've chosen is based off of what NCECA did this year. NCECA is a national conference for ceramics. It happened literally like the week that all the states got closed down. And it's a live conference. It's really huge and it's a really big deal. It's been going for a really long time because it's very well established. And they have a lot of really important potters that are signed up to speak, and a lot of people go. And then obviously it got closed completely. So instead of giving up the whole conference, which was amazing, I don't know how they mobilized so quickly. I'm going to be really honest with you.
I know. It was amazing.
They got it online really quickly. And so they got it online in a similar format to what we're doing, which is that we're going to have we have a website. We have a very huge, robust website. We've been building it for about, 18 months now. And so it can handle pages that are larger. And on those pages, we're going to have information about our artists. We're going to have videos, and we're going to have links to your guys' shops. We're going to talk in this meeting specifically about the videos and about the shops. We're going to leave the live part of the conference. I will go over it right now, but we're going to leave that training for another meeting, because I know in some of the feedback that we've really gotten from people is they're really concerned about the live nature of this Portland Open Studios. Personally, what I saw happen with NCECA was that the live portion really drove sales in the ceramic artists like shops, and they had these mega bonker sales and they would sell out in a day. I don't know if, we're going to create selling out in a day, but I can tell you that I have done a crazy ton of research during this time and watched how digital sales have been successful and not successful. So we're going to share some of that, and hopefully we can band together and make this as successful as we can for all of us. I am not actually a participating artist anymore, as I don't live in Portland. I decided to move to Astoria in the middle of all of this. But I'm going to be there and available to help people. Yeah, Astoria is an awesome place to live. I do miss Portland, but I also so we do have a video. We have a link. Can you play that video?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Astoria's Open Studios are actually happening in 10 days. And we were required to create videos for them. I'm not sharing my video, mainly because it's not as good as my partner's video. My partner's video, however, is adorable. So we can look at her video and look at what I mean when I say 2 to 3 minute videos for your website. Here we go. But I don't think you guys are going to be able to hear it now, I think.
I am Audrey Long.
Can you hear it?
We can. Yes.
Working in Astoria. I was born and raised in Michigan and lucky to grow up in a creatively supportive home. I started playing in an early age and just never gave it up. After a short stint in graphic design, I went back to my true tile love as a craft major at the College for Creative Studies in Detroit, Michigan, focusing on ceramics. I immediately after college joined the production staff at Historic Pottery. I worked primarily with the vessel making department and then a brief time with tile making. I began exploring even more technical aspects of ceramics while getting an immersive training in both manufacturing and reproduction of pottery.
I love that.
I then started taking a more active role instructing and in educational studio management. I got the opportunity to manage several ceramics programs while also falling in love with teaching. I was still trying to manage my own studio practice, but trying to figure out what was my next artistic step. Through Revolve Detroit, I was able to help oversee the opening and funding of a gallery and ceramic studio co-work space on the Avenue of Fashion for Detroit Design Week. Shortly thereafter, I transitioned to working through the Bakehouse Art Complex in Miami, Florida, as a resident artist. I started working with restaurants and coffee shops. I love the idea of building dinnerware and tableware off of a custom menu to visually present the chef's work as beautifully as possible. I was able to experiment with different kiln firing atmospheres and grow my understanding of form, concentrated on my functional work. Thankfully, I've settled in Astoria now. I went from full production studio in a one-car garage and busy Sunday markets early on to collaborating with Astoria makers in the overhaul of the Van Dusen building, setting the groundwork for Audrey Long Ceramics here. My space started quickly going into full-time teaching as well as full-time production for retail and private commissions. Functional ceramics is a way I communicate to others, to those who invite these objects I've made into their homes and incorporate them in their routines. Staying mindful of traditional ceramic methods, I lean towards minimalistic design while striving to retain a sense of playfulness with my palette of handmade glazes and the quality of marking. With my work, I hope to bring a realization that we are not meant to be disconnected from objects that we use every day. The last few months has challenged where the future of my studio stands. I have recently been revisiting my personal production goals, as well as new educational practices. These changes confirm my need for a studio expansion. Partnering with Carista Trask, we are moving next door in the same building to develop a larger production capacity for both of our studio needs. We are also excited to announce we will be opening a gallery in August, focusing on unique projects that seek to start larger conversations by underrepresented and emerging artists.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. Yay.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's see if I can go back to my normal Zoom. This is a terrible screen.
So I just figured out what happened. It was because I had my headphones on that the audio wasn't picking up. I was like, I could have figured this out. Eventually it would have happened.
The reason that we're sharing Audrey's videos that it's adorable. I mean, give me a break.
Really is
Really good.
Also, it was recorded with her cell phone, and the voiceover was recorded with her iPhone headphones. So it's super, I mean, it looks great because she spent a lot of time in iMovie, but it's a super we intentionally went into it trying to make these videos as low tech as possible so that when people are struggling to make their videos, we can help them more. And so I was surprised at how easy it was. I also made a video. Mine's quite a bit more boring because I'm not as eloquent with my words, but and I'm not playing in clay. That's so much more interesting.
I loved watching her dip that was a really nice shot there.
Right?
Yeah.
So then this video will be showcased on the website, and then we're running a sale out of our studio that coincides, an online sale, obviously. So you want to talk about sales?
Yeah.
That was something you wanted to talk a lot about.
Yeah. So right now, what we want you guys to be thinking about is getting, how to get this video together, but more importantly, making sure your website is up and uploaded and ready with your latest work for sale, so that you can direct people. And we think this is an amazing opportunity, actually, to direct people. I very rarely sell off my website, and I used to completely ignore it. I have a store, but like I was way more likely to sell on Etsy or Art Finder or Single Art or any of those other places. And recently I've been really exploring the idea of driving traffic to the site, because if we can drive traffic to our sites, we can like pick up more viewers, get people to come directly to us, avoid paying all those fees. And I think, yeah.
You capture your audience. When they come to your site, you get to capture your audience, and you don't lose slices to other things. We did talk initially about hosting a shop for everyone, but I feel like it's better for artists. I mean, as an artist myself, I would rather capture my audience. I would rather have my audience directed to my actual website, because I think that that has longevity and has the ability to actually cultivate a relationship there. I know that a lot of artists, we did a kind of bonkers sale. Leah can attest to the bonkers sale that we did. And we did it on Instagram. And it was a flash sale on Instagram. And we listed everything on Instagram. People DM'd us through Instagram, and we sold that way. So.
And they sold out in they sold out fast.
2 hours. Yeah, yes. We sold 110 pieces in 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like, when I say bonkers, I'm saying it was bonkers.
Followers. Right. How many followers?
Like 500. Not a lot, actually.
Not a lot.
I have a whole lot more followers. But what it boils down to is people don't have the opportunity to purchase other ways. So as long as you're getting the information to them that you will be having this sale, there's a frenzy that's created. And I will admit that sale that I'm talking about, there was a frenzy created, because it was like 8 to 10 pieces were included in groups. You didn't know for sure which piece you were going to get. You just got one of that group. And it was like the first 10 people got pieces, everybody else didn't. It was insanity. Yeah. But what I will say that I learned from that was that you don't have to just use your website. I've been cultivating my website for 10 years. I want people to go to my website, but Audrey has not been doing that. Therefore, we used Instagram.
Right.
So it can go any way, right? There is flexibility here, but the choice is definitely up to you guys, how you guys want to do that. And if you have questions about that, or you want to talk about that, there's like 1,000 different answers and ways that
I have a question. Are most people picking up, this is Kirk Weller, are most people picking up those pieces, or are they being sent?
Actually, that was what I was trying to get to. Good. Thanks for redirecting my brain. We did live pickup. So hosted during certain hours. So locals definitely did that, but then we did have to ship the ones that weren't local, obviously.
So Melissa Moline and I did a similar event, but we did actually make a live event on Zoom.
You did Zoom, right?
Yeah, we did Zoom. So just like this, we basically invited people. We did what's called a batch release. So Melissa is a jeweler. She released 40 new pairs of earrings mostly, and a few bracelets. And I released 20 new paintings. And we showed them in batches. And so we basically invited we wanted to see how it works. So we invited everybody who normally, our patrons, basically, our group. And 40 or 50 people showed up. And then we showed them in batches, and they had to get onto the chat screen at Zoom once we posted numbers to buy as well. And it was a similar frenzy. And I really mean frenzy. Like within 30 minutes, we were out and people were yelling and screaming and
like an auction to me.
It wasn't an auction because there was just a price, but like Melissa and I knew that if we just posted new stuff on our website and told everyone, it would not be the same thing. Right. So the live element was really key.
Well, I made things in quantities, so I was able to say like 5 pairs of these earrings, and people were like sold, and we've made a PowerPoint presentation, and they had a number associated, and it went really smoothly. Really, I mean, there was a couple technological difficulties, but like we got through it, and we sold so much.
So much. So much. It's a little overwhelming.
And even after the fact, people bought like we had this live event and then we posted it on Facebook and people bought after the fact. I kept selling pieces after, like 8 or 10 pieces after. It was awesome. And
an old guy like me would think that it's just younger people who are doing this, but not necessarily.
Nope, in fact,
on there.
Yeah, your mom had trouble though.
I mean, that's the thing.
Wait a minute. I don't know.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So we were joking about it because we actually both have a lot of older clients in their 50s and above, as I am anyway. And there was one of our younger friends joked, there's a boomer learning curve happening here. But you know, when it fucking came down to it, they were like, I want that painting. I want that set of earrings. And they figured it out. Like, it was interesting how fast they figured it out.
Like, I want to practice so that I can get my trigger finger on.
Yeah. We're
to go now.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how did you deal with it as people made the requests? What did you do?
So Melissa was manning the chat screen and I was talking to people. So she was reading the chats as they were coming through and she would see Virag bought so-and-so. And it's all registered in our chat, so we could go back to the chat later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we traded, and then she manned the screen, and I did the showing. So
it helps to have
kind of need 2 people.
Yeah, at least. We actually think we need 3.
We needed 2 for Audrey's sale. I did all the documentation, which who was buying from each batch, and then so that we could later go back to it. And we actually ended up, which. We are hiring some help for our next one. We're hiring a 3rd person.
Yeah, we are too.
We're both going to be selling. And previously it was only Audrey selling. Or when I did my flash sales, then she backed me up. But we're going to need an additional person to help us.
So I think the keys here are that people were desperate for some kind of engagement, something fun, a game. Our clients wanted to see us, just like Open Studios, by the way. It felt the most like Open Studios of anything I've ever done online, because it was as if everybody was coming in to look at my stuff and see what's available. And then there was this then they could see somebody else was looking at, like, there was one woman who was like, oh my God, I want that rabbit in the teacup painting that you did. How do I get that rabbit? And I'm like, you have to be the first one. So she was like, literally on the screen waiting.
So another question. So how did you show the work? Did you show the work in front of the Zoom?
Yeah, we did a PowerPoint. We did a PowerPoint, or not a PowerPoint, a Google Sheet. So PowerPoint.
There's a presentation mode on Google, like Google Docs. So I just went onto Google Docs and inputted all of our pictures. It's really easy, actually. And we just went through we did a share screen just like we did here, went through the Google Docs, then we pressed pause and then did a live show in between. So it wasn't boring.
Sarah, I think this would go extraordinarily well for you. You have a big list of people who have bought your stuff.
Oh, no, I think it'll work. It's just the understanding.
It's the manpower, right? It's the details.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Sarah,
it's all doable.
What kind of, who hosts your website right now?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I have other people's pixels, which is going to be a clunky selling platform.
Right.
And so I was thinking about getting Big Cartel for this.
Because what I was going to say is, it's been my experience. So we collect ceramics, and so we do a lot of ceramic sales, and an obscene amount of going to them. And what I will say is this: like, preload your release for the day that you're going to release it. So release it on the normal Open Studios weekend, preload it for yourself. But I have seen other ceramic artists do a preview. And so my thought was, for my stuff during our Open Studios, is I'm going to do a preview. You can't purchase during the preview. You can only purchase during the actual sales event. So the preview is live. That's when you're interacting with your clientele. That's when you're like, you've invited them into your studio, you're interacting in this new digital platform that we're going to do, and then the sale goes live, say, the next day. I wonder if that
I don't know how you preload the release though.
Yeah, I
actually-
came to that same conclusion, Krista. We want to do the same thing because it
Yeah.
just shortens the sale. And I agree. Everybody can look at it and decide what they want, and then they're ready. They're looking for their items and they're ready to go.
So
So
it depends
Sarah,
on your platform. So
Yeah.
Big Cartel's going to actually allow you to
Yeah.
preload an entire sale and
Yeah.
just not allow people to purchase.
Well,
I
that's
go-
what I've been seeing. So
yes.
that
I go on
appeals to me.
Squarespace. So I just put all of my quantities at 0, and it's one page. It has all of my paintings that are for sale. Their quantities are 0. Then I go in the day that they are live and put all the quantities to 1. So then they go live and people can actually purchase them.
Yeah, I
Gives
don't
them an
want to
opportunity to
rebuild my whole website though. I'd
No,
rather
no,
have an
no, no,
additional
no.
Right.
Yes.
selling thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
And
a
Big
smart
Cartel
move.
could be I mean, I've heard great things about it. I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Sue.
I like the way it looks.
When Krista, when
What,
you
what if you don't have a website yet?
You need a website.
So
Or-
do you have
no,
a
you could
recommendation for a host or a way to build a website?
I think I use Squarespace because it's quick and easy. We're building I have mine's on Squarespace, and like on the video, we're building a gallery, and our gallery is going to be completely different, and we're doing it on a different, more robust version of Squarespace.
Okay.
My thing about it is it's point and click, so it's easier to use. You can get it up faster. You can duplicate listings, and when you're like, we're talking like loading 150 pieces of ceramics onto it.
Mhm.
I want to be able to duplicate those dang listings so I don't have to recreate them every single time, right?
Okay.
As compared to like my large paintings.
Yeah.
But Wix is also really good.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is good. Yeah, like I think the store is a little bit
Every post on
bulkier, but yeah, but I like
I
them.
would just make sure if you're going to do Wix, don't do the free version. The free
Don't
version,
do the what?
free
Don't
version.
do the free
Oh,
version.
okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Take the time to pay. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I see your hand.
Sue.
Sue,
Sue.
I mean, I don't even know how to ask this, but I think you all are so far ahead of me. When
No, we are not.
Yeah, no.
when you start the process of open studios, where does the client first go? Where do
So they'll go to the Portland Open Studios website. We'll have a full tour guide. We are going to have it organized on our website. So you guys are going to have mini pages on the website. They will host a picture, 2 to 3 pictures, the ones you submitted to us. It'll host the bio that you gave us, and it'll host your video there. That is going to be the introduction. The awesome part about that is the website's going to be up earlier. People can cruise it earlier like they normally would. It's just that what we're encouraging people is, and what I have learned in my research during COVID is the frenzy is part of the sales. That's part of open studios, is engaging
Online.
in that way, right?
Yeah.
So prep your sale just to be at that point, but use the tour guide in advance. We'll be marketing it. Our kind of our slogan this year is going to be invite art in. And we're going to be encouraging
the
people,
virtual edition. Yeah.
Nice.
a virtual edition of Portland Open Studios to invite art in. We'll probably ask you guys for some silly little mini videos of you opening and closing your studio door so that we can put them together in little montages as we're gonna, and then we're gonna heavily market it.
And we are, and what I want you guys to think about, what we want you to think about, and that's why we're doing this now and talking about this stuff now, is that all of you should have a website, right? Like all of you should have a store. All of us should have something. And so if you don't, this is the opportunity to get it going.
Yeah.
Right? And then we're going to have an event in October that's going to drive traffic to you and then to your website, which is like an opportunity we've never been able to do before, right? We have never been able to do it just like this. So, and people are itching.
they are?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm using Daily Paintworks for my store.
Okay.
So if I just make it all via PayPal, then will that work?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
I sell off of just Instagram, and I literally post the photo and tell people to contact me, and they Venmo me to pay.
Yeah.
So, which is just like PayPal, right?
Melissa has an Etsy shop. That's where she's going to direct all. That's where people go to on her Etsy. If you want to do that, if you have a, bustling Etsy shop, you could do it that way.
My website.
Well, everything.
People go to my website first. funnels to it's just my store. So it's like shop here if they end up doing it. But I still promote on my website. I have like my own pictures and everything up there, galleries.
Yeah, well, everything I've done is on Daily Paintworks. And so I just have to activate all the links. So is there a code you can put into PayPal where they could like cancel shipping or something? Is there a way to set that up in PayPal, do you know?
Ooh, that is a great way.
Are you going to want to cancel shipping? Are you going to want to have people do live pickup?
Well, if the people want to pick it up, yeah.
Right. So
just send back the money for shipping.
Yeah. Or don't
a pickup thing on your thing, like a different drop down menu for paint that doesn't have shipping.
I also price my paintings so I don't have to charge shipping.
I do the same thing. So I work on PayPal all the time. PayPal is an option. I just am free shipping in the US, and I negotiate for anything outside the US and give them a separate listing or send them a bill via whatever, a separate bill. I think it's helpful. I don't want to tell everybody to do this because, it eats out of your profit. But I mean, people in the US do kind of expect free shipping these days. So if you can somehow build that into your price, then you can ship, you don't have to worry about it. You can just say free shipping, but really you've added an extra $10 or $20 or whatever it costs to ship.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard if you don't do a lot of shipping. You don't have an idea of how much shipping can cost, right? I do a lot of similar sizes. I do a lot of shipping. And so I have an understanding in my head of what it costs. Trying to think about what we did for Audrey's thing. I think that we just, we went to the post office with a basic sized box, and it was loaded with ceramics so that we could get a great, a good weight on it. And we took an estimate based off of that. And it was included in the price.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
thank you.
That. You can go onto their website and just weigh your thing. If you have like an ounces, like a scale for your kitchen, whatever, you just stick your thing on there and figure out how much it weighs, and you can go on and get a quote from USPS.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing 2D artwork, and so if I'm shipping a big painting, it's like $50 to $70.
Right.
And if it's really big, it needs a crate or something. And the small stuff usually goes for $20. So I know the prices, but that's a good idea to start building shipping into the price.
And then you can negotiate if it's big. You can always say, hey, listen, I'm going to talk to you about this, and you want it with a big painting. You always want to talk to people about it anyway. I mean, I think that's the difference between ceramics or jewelry, which is pretty easy to ship, and paintings, which can be really big.
Ceramics are not easy to ship.
I bet. Yes.
They're not big stuff.
And they have to do so much work to ship them safely.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My mother once sent me my niece's beautiful vase. She's a wonderful ceramicist in North Carolina, and my mother, of course, sent me that beautiful woven vase, hand-built vase, with something inside of it that was hard.
No. See, this is how we learn, right? I once shipped a painting to England, to this tiny little village in England, and I wrapped it in bubble wrap. What the fuck was I thinking? Bubble wrap printed on the thing, and I had to talk the guy. I had to send him free stuff. I had to talk him through trying to varnish it. He wasn't happy with the varnish. He lived in the middle of nowhere. It was fucking terrible. We often learn through these
shipping is a big deal.
Yeah. What's nice is that you can run like this, kind of an open studio that feels like your open studio, except that you can open it up to your friends who don't live in Portland. So if you have clients, if you have friends, you can say, hey, I'm going to be on, I'm going to be live, I'm going to be talking. Melissa and I will do very different things for our open studio presentations as well. I mean, I've been working on 4 big series I'm quite excited about. I'm going to be talking about that. Melissa has what she wants to talk about, and she's had all these exciting things happen with her, business this year. But we probably will do a Zoom preview party the night before, which is a little bit like when we open up our studios the night before to our special guests, right, to come in and see things. No one's going to be able to buy, but we'll say, here, we're going to actually try to drive excitement to our talks by having a Zoom party together and previewing a bit of the stuff that people will see and that we'll talk about.
Let's talk a little bit about the Instagram Live thing, because I want to encourage a couple of things. The first thing I really want to encourage is to show up for other people. So we're going to create, you remember the exact number of artists we have fully participating. It's more near 50. So we're going to create a schedule.
Yeah.
We're going to create a schedule, and we're going to schedule you guys into times. You're going to have half-an-hour slots. And the idea is that you're going to go live on Instagram, and we're going to have this schedule on the Portland Open Studios website and on the Portland Open Studios Instagram. And it's going to have live links so people can go to your profile. Again, the difference in what we're really focusing on this year is driving people to your stuff. We want to teach people to shop from you directly, which is what is really nice about Portland Open Studios, right? So we're going to drive them to your profile. You go live for half an hour. I would encourage you guys, show up for each other. Yeah. Go to other people's talks, because it's a lot easier to do an Instagram Live when you start with 2 or 3 people who are there. You're going to say hello to everybody as they come in. People, we can help each other out by engaging, asking questions, and keeping it going so that we're helping each other be, even better during these live events. And for those who are really uncomfortable, we can run a couple of preliminary lives where we can put a small focus group together, do a couple of preliminary lives, and show up for each other. I think that that's really helpful if you haven't done an Instagram Live. I think even Leah is kind of uncomfortable with Instagram.
Yeah, I'm totally going to do it, whatever. I'm sure. I have my trusty wine bottle here. I'm sure it'll help. But what's really interesting to me is if you're feeling like I can't visualize this, that's okay. Until you do it the first time, you don't see the power of it. Right. I will tell you that virtually everybody under the age of 30 will spend hours watching Instagram Live. They watch the chess play, like the best chess player in Russia now has a site that people are on just watching him play chess and talk about it. Musicians are having great success with Instagram Live where people are coming and watching. This is I know, and I'm not saying I know most of us are probably not in that category of 30 or younger, but it is a natural thing. It's how people spend their time, and particularly right now, it's how people are spending their time.
So that's what I was going to say. Yeah. We're trained. Our audience is being trained right now for us because COVID is the way that it's going. People are learning new ways to engage with each other. They're learning to watch Facebook Lives. They're learning to go to Zoom. Let's talk about Zoom, the use of Zoom now in comparison to 6 months ago. So we can harness this opportunity for ourselves as long as we show up to our audience and we, with the same beliefs that they're going to show up for you, because they will. They want to, and they want to do the work.
So just like you guys showed up to this meeting wanting to know and to connect, and it's so not right, we're all we're all just little bubbles doing our little thing most of the time, so it feels good to see everybody here in one place.
What are we talking about on the Instagram Live that we're not addressing in the video? What's the purpose of the Instagram Live?
Oh my God, it's everything.
Well, what's cool about Instagram Live is that, you can take questions from people. When they actually come into your studios for Portland Open Studios, we have this opportunity to have this really natural conversation with them. So the videos that are an introduction to you as an artist, whereas the Instagram Live, great for studio tours. People ask questions. They actually watch and they're like, well, what's that thing behind your shoulder? Can you zoom in on that shelf better? Or what is that work in progress that you have going there? Or one of the things that I'm showcasing in our studio, our open studio here is that I've been doing a series of paintings from COVID, but they're this big. They're tiny. So they do a little bit better live. People have an opportunity to understand the scale of them better than in stagnant photos. So I'll probably talk about that.
So are we doing the sale on Instagram Live?
No.
Okay. So
in addition to.
So we wanted you guys to be able to control that. We want you guys to be able to control how you do the sale part. My just advice is launch the sale for the normal weekends of Portland Open Studios. You will all have a different day because there's 4 days, and we have, like I said, there's I think 10 artists a day scheduled. So you're all going to have a time and a day that your live is scheduled. Invite people to your live, but have your sale be live, so to say.
So the sale should go live after the talk.
No,
is that what you're saying? Or
No,
you have it going on
live for all 4 days of Portland Open Studios. The sale launches for Portland Open Studios. Your live, that half an hour, is just an opportunity if people go to your sale and they want to ask questions about a piece that's for sale, or you want to be able to talk to people about different things. You'll know what's selling and what's not selling. That'll give you an opportunity to talk about things.
Doing our 1.5 hour live on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if people do not have an Instagram account, can they access the live?
They can watch it.
They can.
Yes, they can watch it. But
people may not have Instagram, so then they'll be like, "Where do I go? How do I see your talk?"
So here's the thing. You know, we had a long conversation about the platform to use for this.
Yes.
And the thing is that Instagram has by far the highest number of followers. You know, you can have, and that's why Leah is wanting to do a Zoom preview party, is that she understands that some of her audience won't be able to go to her live. So she's putting in the work and she's saying, hey, I'll do a preview party that anybody can get a link from me to. And then I'll pick up people who will, your other followers that didn't know that you were even doing this will see you go live because it tells them.
Right.
So it allows you to access the entirety of your market, which is the hope.
And then the boomer learning curve can commence as it needs to.
It already has commenced. Yeah.
So it's the preview party on Zoom you could do anytime.
Yep.
But the Instagram Live events are going to be during the 2 weekends?
Yes.
It's to be scheduled for you. So we'll be like, you know, yours is at this time so that we can release a schedule to people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You had a question.
And the reason that, sorry, go ahead, Gia.
Yeah.
I was going to say the reason that we picked Instagram is that we thought this is the one that maybe our artists don't know the best, aren't utilizing as well as they could be. And because there's so many people on it watching Instagram Live. You probably think it's easy to kind of get in your own bubble as you're posting on Instagram and looking on Instagram and ignoring all the live videos as they're popping up. But for a lot of people, it's like their new TV. So with your getting hashtags correct and it drawing people to you, and what we hope is we're going to be directing some of our marketing. We're going to try as well to train our typical audience. We have a email listserv of, I don't know, several thousand people that do open studios every year. So we're going to be trying to develop some materials to get them excited about doing open studios this year just differently. There are people who open studios is a religion, as you know, they get their guide, then they look through it, then they decide, then they get their friends to come with them, they go walking through. And so we're going to be trying to talk to them about we want them to get that this is not over, right? You can still engage with your artist. You can still talk to your artist. You can still probably spend the same amount of time with your artist that you would if you went to their studio.
How long is the Instagram Live available after you record it?
You can actually save it to your highlights, and that's the first thing that I would encourage you to do, and then it's permanently available. Mm-hmm. So you'll do the Instagram Live, and then it'll give you the option to save it as a highlight and then save it as your highlight. The good news about that is then you have this great video that's permanently available on your Instagram, and then when people find your profile, they watch it.
Right.
So you're going to show us step by step how to do an Instagram Live?
Yeah,
that'll be the next training. Yes.
Okay. That's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to do a little pod so that we can actually go live for each other. So
and
that
practice.
We can practice a little bit. Because I really want I want you guys to feel comfortable engaging in this manner so that it's as successful as possible for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for those videos, are we going to have a hard stop so that we don't interfere with other people's half hour? How does that work?
So I watched Nsika do this, and they scheduled them. They did the first half an hour was the scheduled stuff, and it started on every hour, so that if somebody went over 15 minutes, but they were all super conscious about the fact that another artist is coming before them. And don't be afraid to say, at the end of your thing, and so is next, hop on over to their profile and check out their work.
And that might be a good thing to do.
More successful. We all know that. We all know that moving people through each other is the best way for us to continue to make money. So, that kind of support can be lent. But yes, so that's why it's only half an hour. Is that if somebody goes over, we can continue moving people on.
That's like a yoga, like a yoga class.
So the sales won't be scheduled. Will we be competing with each other though?
I mean, but you're competing with each other during anyway. Your sales are available during
competing in the normal way.
But you were saying before that it should be like a timed sale, like a live sale. So that would be.
I think that you should have a selection of work, and I work with a lot of artists as a business coach, and this is what I always say: have a selection of work that is specific to the event. The selection of work you're going to release for Portland Open Studios. That is the sale that goes live the Saturday morning of the first weekend, and it's available for those 4 days. You can decide if you want it to be available both weeks or whatnot. But I would encourage you to have something that is just for that, because it feeds into that supply and demand for people.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's a lot like the way Open Studios works live. That's why we like this event, because that's why we like this idea, is that it actually is, although it's so foreign in the interface, like in reality, when it plays out, and you will see it yourself as we start to practice it, you'll be like, oh my God, this feels like Open Studios, but thank fucking God, I only have to be on for 30 minutes rather than 4 fucking days, right? I can be there, and then I can be there for my other people. I can be there and I don't have to leave. And remember listen, we're looking at spikes going up. So people are going to be stuck at home. They are bored. They want to spend money. They want to engage. They want entertainment.
It'll be cold. It's going to be cold.
I'm sure we're all going to be rich after this.
That's not all what I'm saying, and I'm just making sure that everybody knows I'm a realist.
But I joined this whole meeting about 10 minutes late because Laura Vincent was looking at my work for a September show, and she's going to be representing me. And
Congratulations! Yay!
Yes, I'm very excited. So I missed your first 8 minutes, and so this gives me a sense of what we're kind of doing with people and how we're going to present ourselves. But because I'm a terrible reader of emails, I probably missed a whole bunch of stuff that I should have read by now. Could you give maybe 5 or 6 or 7 things that we all need to do, kind of maybe in sequence?
Yeah.
So that we kind of are clued in, this is what we need to do. Bang, 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 bang.
I like that question. That's very good.
The first 2 things that you should be focused on right now is creating content for your video and figuring out your sales platform. So for the folks who don't have a shop, you need to figure out how you want to do your shop. Okay. You need to get templates up for that for yourself, because you can help yourself that way. Creating the content for your video. I don't know about other people, but I record myself painting a lot, mainly because I'm a plein air abstract painter and people really like that. Yeah. So I was able to actually source a lot of my own footage from previously recorded stuff. So I would encourage you, because I hate the process of making videos. I'm going to be very honest. It is the worst 3 hours of my life. It makes me angry and
so take videos and get used to the idea of editing them.
Yeah, exactly.
And trim them down for yourself so that you're not pushing the editing part of actually putting it together till the last minute. It's really frustrating. So those are the things that your July and August hopefully will look like, right? Creating content for your video and making sure that your website is ready for you to load in your sale. Right. And then we can talk about in, September, we can really be working on how we're going to present on these lives. then you're not worrying about the stress of the other two parts, right?
Is our video supposed to be 3 minutes long? Like,
yeah.
So over 3 minutes, people stop watching. And don't get me wrong, my video is 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I could not for the life of me get that stupid video down below 3 minutes. And I'm 100% sure people are going to stop watching. So guess what part they're going to miss? They're going to miss the part where I give them my website and I tell them how to find me, which is the most important part. So really, I highly encourage you. People don't really hear the first 30 seconds. That's when they really start to pay attention.
Start to clue in.
It's the clue in. That's the part where you introduce yourself and you keep it super low key. Then, you know, that middle 2 minutes is when you really have to introduce them to who you are and what you're doing. And then that last 30 seconds should be how they can find you. Don't underestimate the importance of how people can find you.
Yeah. And I think here's the other thing to think about in this whole thing. It's to understand that, like, a bad video, so we watch some really bad videos. I don't want to cast aspersions on any other studio tours that are in the neighborhood, but I will tell you that a bad studio, like a bad video where there isn't activity, where you're not seeing the process, people are obsessed with, like, watching hands make something. You know, there's a woman on Instagram who has millions of followers, and all she does, I kid you not, is take paint, like dollops of paint, and a palette knife and swirl them around. And she has hundreds of thousands of viewers. I think it's the dumbest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life, but, like, I'm just saying, like, that, I mean, like, we can't just think about us, like what we think and how we relate. We have to think about how, like, the wider world relate. I mean, really, I'm telling you this, not even this. You don't even see my face. It's just a palette knife and this goopy paint and millions, just so many followers. It's insane. So, like, don't underestimate don't either overestimate or underestimate your audience. I started a separate Etsy shop for a new line of work that I have been doing. It's these cute little animal paintings, like little 5" by 5. I can show you them if you want to see them, but I'm a little embarrassed by them. They're kind of in that pet portrait category but they aren't. Anyway, I sell so many of those things. And when I opened the Etsy shop, I made this point of naming it the most annoyingly, disgustingly cute thing I could think of, Animal Pals. I priced them at a certain price and kept them, like, at this sort of certain, like, size and price and, like, thing. And and I described them in this disgustingly cute way. Like, honestly, I am like, whoa, oh my God, this is so horrible. But it's a whole audience. I sell those every week, and I'm stunned myself. I was like, this is not.
You're saying that in order to be successful, we all need to be disgustingly cute.
No, what I mean is, what I'm trying to say is,
as Leah's business coach, I definitely stepped in and said that cannot be associated with your real work, because her real work is beautiful and it has, you know, depth. And it has a lot of things going on, and that's why that has got to have a different name, and it's got to be something not associated.
Exactly. I don't sign them, but they fill in a little gap of, like, funding, right? They're like a source of funding. And I was kind of fascinated. I was just like, okay, here, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to make this as nauseatingly cute as I can and see. And it's a different audience. That audience will not spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they need to spend on my work. That's a different audience. But it's an interesting thing to see who you can reach and how you can reach them by pushing your own threshold of what you find.
What are some deadlines that we're going to have?
So the video needs to be done. So we need the video. Do you remember what day Shelly said she needed the video so she could load them in?
I don't. We're going to have to ask her.
I know you don't read emails, Kirk. I get that. What if I just sent an email of just bullet point dates? You don't
I
have
do
to
read
read the rest
emails,
of the
but just
Yeah,
not.
yeah, we know you do. We know you do.
So we'll get the
Paul's
deadlines.
like, yes.
We'll put it into a bullet pointed email. I won't put a lot of filler stuff in. And if you've ever gotten an email from me, you know that I don't like to chat in emails. I like to just get it done. So that you can have your dates. I want to say that it was somewhere in September so that she can get all of the pages loaded. She's actually already working on everybody's pages right now.
I think she was almost done.
Right.
So she was almost done.
So that it will be the current artists. We're working on the community, separating them by communities so we can still kind of work on the neighborhood feel thing. But we will let you know what day. But as soon as your video is done, it can go up on the website. It's not like you can't have it there next week if you already have one, right?
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay.
And I would say the other thing to keep in mind here is this is not something that can be done alone. So you do need to recruit, hire, engage, whoever can help you do these things. This is the moment to ask and get that going.
No, I have a tripod. I could have done mine alone. If you have to.
If you have to.
If you have to. I have a tripod for my cell phone. I put my cell phone on it, and that's how I record all my planar stuff because I do it in hyperlapse. So it is possible, but I would definitely ask somebody if they could help you because it's a little easier when you're not going along. It's true.
I think
but we also know that we're in a pandemic, and
yeah,
that's something
something going to do.
Hold on, come on, dinner.
So.
Especially on sale day, if you can have something on sale day, I think that's an important thing.
Well, the good news is if you use websites like Squarespace and Big Cartel, you don't have to manage them the same way because only one is available. It's purchased. That order information is saved for you, right? Unlike if you use Instagram, you're going to need help because it's going to go too fast. You don't want to miss anything. If you do something like you guys did on the Zoom where you had the numbers and that's how people purchase, you do need help. But if it's preloaded into a shop and that shop goes live, you're like cruising back with your coffee while people are shopping.
Right. So, then you can sit and go, okay, so I'm showing you this piece, and here's the piece that's about Black Lives Matter, and here's the piece that's about whatever happened to me this year, and here's the piece about this, and then they can go to the shop and see it. Right. Whatever it is you're going to say, whatever it is that has happened to you this year, and also get that people are looking to artists to tell them, to talk about how they're looking to you to react to how this is going on. They're looking to us as like, how is this artist going to talk about how I'm feeling, right? Like, and so as we know, always, like the more we talk about how we feel and how we feel in the making process and what is driving us this year, this fucked up, crazy, dimensional, challenging, amazing year, like this is a focal point for that, for people. And so if you can kind of you can say that this is, I mean, I am like really excited because I was worried. I get very used to the idea of launching a whole new series at Open Studios. I always love to do that. I've done that for years. Like this year, oh my God, there's so much to talk about. Right? There's so much to talk about.
It is 7:30.
Okay.
So I do, if anybody has any last minute questions that they want to get in, you guys can also email me, which is Carista@PortlandOpenStudios.com, right? Is that my email?
Yes, that's your email.
But
Is there
my
going
first
to
name has two
is
I's.
there going to
Don't
be
forget that.
a Facebook group?
We have a Facebook group. You can ask in the Facebook group. And if you want to, I mean, helping each other engage in the Facebook group is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I
tried this works, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to, because it kind of was there, and then of course nobody knew what was going on for about 5 months. And
it's still there.
Same group. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe we'll create a separate group for the people who are maybe we should create a new private, we'll create a new private group for the people who are online artists, so are 54. So we will create a new secret group for people who are doing this so that we can start talking to each other about it.
How many are there total?
What's that?
You'll invite us over email then?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many artists are there total doing the whole shebang?
73 with all of it, with everybody.
So 54 are doing the online, 54 or 55 are doing the online experience. And then another 25 are choosing to list on the website, but not do the online experience.
Oh, okay.
I know, weird, right? But whatever.
I want to learn how to do this.
Let's just hope they get a vaccine, huh?
Yeah.
Right? Seriously.
Gia, what's up?
I think they refunded half of my participation fee. Is that because they think I'm not doing the online experience? Because I'm all about the online experience.
I know. So you paid $250, right?
Yeah.
So the online experience is $125.
Lowered the cost.
Yeah. Yeah. We applied, hopefully we applied for a grant to cover, which we hope we will get, for $5,000 to cover the basic costs of keeping us running. We did not want to burden anyone over excessively, particularly since this is a totally new program.
And it's a rough year right now. It's hard. People are losing income.
Yeah.
So we tried.
Be fun.
It's good. This is going to be great.
I mean, we've already had a lot of fun, and I would recommend you try it out this summer. Try something, engaging your patrons live and online. Use Zoom, use Instagram, do whatever. Like, try something just to test the waters, to get your people kind of used to coming to you this way. That is, people are bored. They want to spend money. They are not yet, I don't know, the economic reality, who knows? Like,
people have all this vacation time they haven't spent money on, right?
There's a lot of things they haven't spent money on.
Right? And people they can't spend money in typical ways right now.
Right.
But anything else before we sign off so that people aren't stuck here all night?
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing posters or anything? Because I know that, you know, people who have been to open studios before will know to check online, and you have a mailing list and everything, but a lot of traffic sometimes comes randomly.
That is a $1,000 cost to get stuff printed. And in order to reduce the cost so that we could actually allow, like, people could afford to participate.
Totally.
Also, since we're not sending people to addresses, we don't have the same kind of like thing to give them. We're not giving them a map, which is really disappointing, right? Because we spent all of that time designing that awesome map last year. We got it together. We found a way to do the guide that was beautiful, and we don't use it. I'm not even going to go down that road right now.
Yeah.
We're spending our money on marketing online so that we can drive traffic as best as possible.
Are you
really maximizing that.
Facebook and Instagram?
What's that?
Are you doing ads on Facebook and Instagram? Is that
we'll do that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna geocache. So we'll probably geocache Art in the Pearl.
We did geocaching last year, but we're really we were able to work with the company last year who was able to really help us define our market better. So our geocaching this year is going to be a lot more successful.
What's geocaching? Geocaching means that when you show up
advertising on the internet.
Yeah. So, you know, when people are complaining about, I go to this event and then shit starts showing up on my Facebook feed, that's geocaching. That's geocaching.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to.
Also, some things that, depending on how much people are interested in showing up, there's also the opportunity of doing preliminary events to get people interested in learning to participate in these ways. Mm-hmm. But this is the part where, like, your engagement in the process becomes a driving factor for that. I know that there are a lot of artists right now, even who are still participating, who are still, like, literally in COVID shock, who haven't even been able to get back to painting, haven't even been able to get back to creating. And so we didn't want to say, and we're going to do this, and people not be able to show up because they mentally can't do it. So there are other opportunities preliminary if people are interested in actually, like, wanting to drive their market this way.
Right. Exactly.
Thank you.
Do you guys feel, how do you guys feel? Do you feel a little bit like pumped up? Do you feel a little bit like ready to start?
I was very pumped.
Good.
The only thing that really pumped me up was all the beautiful art on the wall that everybody has. So
yeah, that is so wonderful, isn't it?
It's correct. I love Zoom meetings with artists because you get to see the stuff that they hang in their actual studio. That's like sometimes not even their own work. I don't know about other people, but I fill my workspace with everybody else's work. So in all the meetings that I've been doing, I have loved seeing the background artwork.
It's true.
And they'll look like nothing at all here, like nothing.
So it's interesting to think about, like, as you think about, like, and I'm outside because it's just too fucking hot in my studio right now. Yeah, but like, it's an interesting thing to think about, like, oh, okay, like, what's behind me? Because that's now how people are engaging with me. What's behind me? Like, what to think about that? Like, yeah. All right, you guys. This was good.
Very excited and very confused. Thank you.
Yay! That's exactly where we want you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.